Today we are going to start a next topic of life process, that is transportation. First of all, I want to explain it by using an example. Think of that we are eaten food for getting energy. The food get absorbed in the small intestine and from there it is passed to different cells for the further process. And another process we have learned is respiration, where we require continuous amount of oxygen or continuous supply of oxygen for the oxidation of this absorbed food. And this oxygen we get from the lungs and then it is transferred to different parts of the body. What is the mechanism here? There must be a certain medium that used to transfer these substances across our body from one part to another part. Similarly, some proteins are synthesized in the cells which are again transferred from one part to another part of the body. And this mechanism is known as transportation. So first of all, we have a definition of transportation is that it is a life process in which absorbed or synthesized substances are moved from one part to another part. This is the definition that we have concluded, that transportation is a life process in which absorbed or synthesized substances get moved from one part to another part. We have already seen that transportation requires a medium. So what are the different components of transportation that we have to study? But before that, we have to know that transportation occurs both in plants and animals. Transportation in animals or transportation in plants. They both transport different types of material according to their need. And what are they? In animals, we can say in human being, what we have transported? We have transported different gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen, along with other waste gases are also there. Then absorbed food, the food that is digested in our alimentary canal and absorbed in the small intestine. Then some hormones, proteins and other essential substances, and due to some metabolic activities in cells, some waste product also synthesized there that has to be removed out from our body. Then another thing we have to transport is waste material. These are few substances that in animals have to be transported from one part to another part. But in plants, along with certain gases, water, minerals and food are transported. Some gases. Mainly transportation occurs in plant is of water, minerals and food. First, we are going to study about the transportation in human being. Transportation in human being required some components that help in the transportation of different substances across the body. What are they that we study? first component that we have to study is blood. Very essential component. It provides a medium through which substances get transferred from one part to another part. And how the blood flows in the body. Blood flows in a vessel-like structure or tube-like pipes through which it connects all the body parts and transfer the substances from one part to another part. These are known as blood vessels. And the third component is very essential component. Without this, blood can't be flow in our blood vessels. Who make it to flow? A third component, that is a heart. It is an organ that pumps the blood from one part to another part. We will study them one by one. First of all, we are going to study about the blood. What is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. How can it be defined? It is a fluid connective tissue. We all know that in tissue there is a ground substance in which different cells are embedded. So, similarly, blood is a type of connective tissue in which the matrix or ground substance is of fluid nature, and that matrix of blood is known as plasma. In this plasma, various cells are embedded in it. The different cells are RBC, WBC and platelets. Fluid connective tissue has a matrix which is commonly termed as plasma. This plasma form 55% of blood. If we talk about the composition of blood, then about 55% of blood is made up of plasma. Rest 45% of blood consists of solid cells, and these cells are RBC, WBC and platelets. First of all, we studied about the plasma. What is plasma? What is the nature of plasma? It is yellowish, fluid-like substance, and this yellowish nature, yellowish color is due to bilirubin. It is a pigment found in bile salts. Okay, bilirubin. Next we talk about plasma, that it is of non-living nature. Plasma is non-living. It comprises of 90% of water along with 10% of solid substances like sugar, proteins, hormones and some nitrogenous waste, etc. This 10% of solid substance comprise of these things, and some pigments also there, like let me study about this first. The different types of proteins present in plasma help in different functions, like proteins like some proteins like globulin. Alpha and beta globulin proteins are present in plasma that help in the formation of antibodies and provide immunity to our body. Another one is prothrombin and fibrinogen. Prothrombin and fibrinogen help in making blood clot. It prevents our body. It prevents the loss of blood from the injured part during any injury. Okay, these two protein help in formation of blood clot. What is the function of plasma? Plasma proteins have do different functions, like globulin. Globulin does two functions that help to maintain viscosity of blood. Viscosity is the thickening of blood, how the blood flow with how much thickness, how much viscosity it should be there. It regulated by globulin protein. Globulin protein also help in the formation of antibodies. And these antibodies help us to fight against the different kind of infections. Next, the prothrombin and fibrinogen help in the formation of blood clot at the site of injury. Around the wounded organ, blood clot is formed with the help of prothrombin and fibrinogen along with blood platelets. Blood plasma also help in buffering of blood. Buffering of blood means to maintain pH level. Blood pH level is not neither acidic nor alkaline in nature. It is slightly alkaline. Different cells found in blood are RBC, WBC and platelets. First of all, we studied about the RBC. What is the full form of RBC? RBC full form is red blood cells, or we can say red blood corpuscles. It is also known as erythrocytes. WBC, white blood cells or white blood corpuscles. Another name of WBC is leukocytes. Same with the platelets. Another name for platelets is thrombocytes. Let me talk about the RBC. RBCs are oval, rounded, non-nucleated structure. Non-nucleated structure. It is of red color. Okay? Red color due to the presence of hemoglobin pigment. Very important pigment that is present in RBC is hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin is the respiratory carrier that help in the transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and this heme part of the hemoglobin provide red color to the RBC. RBC have a lifespan. When it formed, from the formation day, then after about 120 days, completed its life cycle and get destroyed in spring. Lifespan of RBC is about 120 days. Where it formed? Formation of RBCs occur. If we talk about the stage like fetus and embryo, in fetus or we can say embryo, the formation of RBC takes place in yolk sac. In embryo time it is formed in yolk sac, and then after When subsequent development occurs, the formation of RBCs occurs in thymus and liver. But in mature human being, the formation of RBCs occurs in red bone marrow. Formation of RBCs in a mature human being occurs in red bone marrow. The term is used for the formation of RBC is commonly known as erythropoiesis. What is the function of RBC? Let me talk about the function. The very important function is the transportation. Sorry. Hemoglobin in RBC help in the transportation of carbon dioxide and water. Okay. This hemoglobin provide red color to blood. The red color of blood is due to the presence of RBC that have hemoglobin. RBC size की बात करें हम, size of RBC is about 5.5 micron to 8.5 micron and its amount as per cubic millimeter of blood. Amount of RBC in per cubic millimeter of blood is 5 millions in male, it is 4.5 million in female. When we talk about the leukocyte, leukocytes are white blood cells corpuscles that are of two types, A granulocytes and another one is granulocytes. What this term mean? A granulocyte. A granule मतलब cytoplasm is divided of granules. In it, the cytoplasm of cell, devoid of granules, no granules present in its cytoplasm. And granulocyte, that certain granules are present inside cytoplasm. Okay. Their formation place is also different. A granulocyte formed in lymph node, or we can say lymph gland and spleen. A granulocyte type of WBC formed in lymph gland and spleen. But granulocyte formed in red bone marrow. Okay. A granulocytes are of two types. One is lymphocytes and another one is monocytes. Lymphocytes are colorless WBC that help in the formation of antibodies. Lymphocytes formed in lymph gland and help in the formation of antibodies. Thus, it prevents our body from different kind of infections by developing antibodies against them. Monocytes are phagocytic in nature. Phagocytic means a cell that engulf or destroy another foreign or unwanted cells. Okay, it is phagocytic in nature and it is helpful in destroying foreign, unwanted, harmful germs and prevent our body from being infected. We talk about granulocyte. It is of three kinds. First is neutrophil. These cells are of neutral nature and phagocytic in nature. These are phagocytic cells. Again, phagocytic cells, it means they help in engulfing harmful germ cells. Okay. Where it found? It is found in large amount near infected tissue. Another one is basionophils. Basionophils are basic in nature. They are non-phagocytic cells, and they are also present in the tissue where parasitic infections occur. Okay, they are found near parasitic infected tissues. They are non-phagocytic in nature. And third one is eosinophils. Eosinophils are acidic in nature. They are again non-phagocytic in nature. What they do? They release a special kind of protein called heparin. Eosinophils release heparin protein in blood. They release heparin protein. What is the function of heparin? Heparin is a anticoagulant protein. Anticoagulant means it prevents the blood from being clotted inside the vessels. It is anticoagulant in nature. Okay, this question arises that name the protein that act as anticoagulant in the blood. Then the protein name is heparin and secreted by eosinophil type of WBC cell. Okay, that kind of blood cell is platelet. Platelet is colorless cell and help in formation of blood clot. If we talk about the size of different cells, RBC size ranges from 5.5 mu to 8.5 mu. Then it's WBC. WBC is of slightly larger in size, that is about 8 micron to 10 micron in size, and these are very small type of cells that ranges about, if we talk about the amount or range in per cubic millimeter of blood, it ranges about 2,50,000 to 4,50,000 per cubic mm of blood. function we have talked about it helps in the formation of blood clot. Now we talk about the formation of blood clot, how it formed at the site of injury. Where the tissue get injured, plasma release prothrombin and platelets release thromboplastin. This thromboplastin is a type of protein. This thromboplastin acts on prothrombin and convert it into thrombin. First stage is this. First step, that prothrombin of plasma get converted into thrombin in the presence of thromboplastin. This thrombin acts on fibrinogen. On fibrinogen, this thrombin acts and convert this fibrinogen into fibrin fibers. This fibrin forms a network of fibers around the wounded tissue. This network of fiber help to entangle the RBCs in it. And the third step is this fibrin along with RBCs form blood clot. This type of network is formed by fibrin in which RBCs get entangled. And thus clot is formed. Okay. So this is the process of blood clotting. The rest part is blood vessels that we study in next video.